Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Board of Directors meeting for April 3rd, 2018. I'd like to welcome everybody that's here in City Hall with us today as we do the city's business. Madam Clerk, if you would, please read the roll.
Director Hendricks, Director Richardson, Director Peck, Director Hines, Director Wright, Director Wyrick, Director Campuris, Director Fortson, Director Adcock, Vice Mayor Webb.
Here, let me call on City Director Joan Adcock for our invocation, please.
Would you please bow your head? Dear Heavenly Father, we come to you tonight to thank you, Lord, for all the blessings of this day. We thank you for the rain, and we thank you for the safe trips to come here to the city where we can do the business of the city and of the people. Guide and direct everything that we do and say, Lord, that will be pleasing to you. And we ask your blessing on each city employee as they do their job and as they serve others. Be with them, guide them, and protect them. Thank you, Lord, again for all the blessings we have and for those blessings that we don't acknowledge, but that you give us each day. We ask in your holy name to be with us this evening. Amen.
Amen. If you would please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, we can begin our agenda with a presentation about our upcoming Jazz in the Park series. And let me call on Diana Long for the presentation. Welcome, Diana.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, directors. Thank you, James, for helping get us on the agenda for tonight. Hi, how are y'all? Good. Yay. So Jazz in the Park is in its 6th season at Little Rock River Market, and this is a free community jazz concert that we hold in the History Pavilion at Riverfront Park. It's held on Wednesday nights in the month of April and again in the month of September from 6 p.m. until 8 p.m. We are glad that we have continued a 4-year-long partnership with our friends at Art Porter Music Education. They are the beneficiary of our beer, wine, soft drink, and water sales. And they do take this donation to go into their scholarship fund for students going to college who are going to study music. So all of this is going back into a great cause. So I'd like to invite y'all out. Please make plans to join us at any one of our Jazz in the Park events this April. It's going to be a little bit chilly tomorrow night, but at least it will be dry. So we're going to have fun in our coats. But we're going to open the season up with Lewis Hurd Jazz Trio. It's standard classic jazz. Our second week will be A+B, which is a newer group, followed by Off the Cuff, and we'll end it with Marquee Hunt on the 25th of April. So this is a free event. It is a very family-friendly event, as well as pet-friendly. So bring the whole family down. The kids can play at the park right there on the playground just next to the History Pavilion. It's a great time.
Very good. Thank you, Diana.
Thank you so much. Hope to
Good.
see
It's
y'all.
a great time for everybody to get to our wonderful Riverfront Park, a great concert series. It's one of the many, many things that goes on at the Riverfront Park through the course of the year. We're certainly glad to see that happen. Director Hendricks, do you have a comment or question? I see you have your light on.
I want to be first up when you get to the agenda, number 1, the resolution.
All right. Well, we haven't had the consent agenda read yet.
Okay.
Let me
but
go ahead and let that
I want to be
reading
first.
happen first, and then we can take questions. Madam Clerk, if you would, we're ready to go forward with the consent agenda. If you would, please read resolutions 1 through 10, please.
A resolution to authorize the city manager to execute a professional services agreement with Global Perspective Consulting LLC in an additional amount of $8,800 for a total annual amount not to exceed $61,780 plus any applicable taxes to add a cultural intelligence basic assessment and to continue to provide and conduct a comprehensive diversity and cultural competency training program for the Little Rock Police Department and for the purposes. A resolution authorizes the city manager to execute a contract with Enterprise Fleet Maintenance in an amount not to exceed $244,171 to lease 48 undercover vehicles for the Little Rock Police Department and for the purposes. A resolution authorizing the city manager to enter into a contract with International Business Machines Corporation in amount not to exceed $169,042.67 for the purchase of database software and licensing and supporting elements to conduct link analysis for the Little Rock Police Department Gun Crimes Intelligence Unit and for other purposes. A resolution authorizing the city manager to enter into a contract with Burkhalter Technologies Incorporated in an amount not to exceed $67,790.40 for Ninth Street at College Street widening project and for other purposes, funding from the 2012 38-cent capital improvement sales tax. A resolution authorizes the city manager to enter into a contract with Burkhalter Technologies Incorporated in an amount not to exceed $565,137.60 for Kavanaugh Boulevard at Jackson Street drainage improvements and for other purposes, funding from the 2012 38-cent capital improvement sales tax. A resolution authorizes the city manager to enter into a contract with Redstone Construction Group at an amount not to exceed $169,245.24 for the Markham Street sidewalk and Bowman Road at Markham Street right turn lane project and for the purposes funding from the 2012 38-cent capital improvement sales tax. A resolution authorizes the city manager to enter into a contract with Burkhalter Technologies Incorporated in an amount not to exceed $193,476.48 for the Penbrook Clover Hill Drainage Improvement Project and for the purposes funding for the 2012 38-cent capital improvement sales tax. A resolution authorizes the city manager to enter into a contract to Junkin Construction Company Incorporated in an amount not to exceed $229,590 for sidewalk construction within the city of Little Rock, Arkansas, and for other purposes, funding for the 2012 38-cent capital improvement sales tax. A resolution authorizes the city manager to enter into a contract with Professional Account Management LLC for a parking management system for the city of Little Rock, Arkansas, for devices and services for parking citations and management system, and for the purposes. A resolution to make appointment to the Little Rock Advertising and Promotion Commission and for other purposes. That concludes the consent agenda.
There's a motion and a second to adopt the consent agenda. Director Hendricks, you had your light on before. If you have a question, go ahead, please.
My concern has to do with the very first resolution with the police department. And my question, I want to ask someone about if the Racial, Cultural, and Diversity Commission was a part of this group. And
Sure,
if not, why not?
Mr. Jones, what is the question again, Director
The
Hendricks?
question is, was the Racial, Cultural, and Diversity Commission a part of this resolution that we are about to address?
I don't know about the selection now. We did put this out to bid.
No, I'm not saying that. They're not to go out for view. They are employees.
Correct. So
So
Chief
the answer
Buckner,
is no.
can you address this?
And the reason why I was
Mayor.
asked,
Go ahead, Chief.
I don't believe that they were a part of it, but there was a committee that was put together, I believe, of 6 or 8 individuals, I believe 2 or so of which were police officers. The rest were representatives from the from the city government employees, and diverse with gender and race.
well, that's my concern, is that if we have such a commission and that person was not a part of this decision-making, and as a black, I'm offended. So I'm asking that this would be pulled and that this group would go back and work with the Racial, Cultural, and Diversity Committee. We paid these people good money, and we're not going to use their service.
Well,
It's left up to the board anyway.
exactly,
Yeah.
but I would caution the board on removing or even pausing the process that we already have in place that has went through a vetting process through the city's procedures. The gentleman that's providing the services to our city, that's already underway in 2018, and any stoppage or temporary removing that would result in people who are already going through the in-service chain to receive that 40-hour in-service that we have each week. So we've already went through the process. There was a diverse group of individuals that participated in the process to select this group. This is an addition to that. If you need more intimate details about that, I have the captain over the training division that's here. But that would certainly would be a significant impact to the training that we're already providing.
As a director, I would like to say again, I'm offended that this commission was not involved. And we're not saying tear up what you've done, but I'm asking that this board defer this resolution and do what's right.
Director Hendricks, do you wish to make that a motion?
Yes, I make a motion that we defer this resolution, that the Racial and Cultural Diversity Committee is involved with this process. It shouldn't take long. That's my motion.
Okay, there's a motion. Is there a second? Is there a second to Director Hendricks's motion? There's a second to Director Hendricks's motion. We'll go ahead and deal with it individually. There's a motion to defer, which has been seconded. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. The nays have it. So it will stay on the agenda.
Okay. That's the way you do it through the process, is that you go to the courts. Thank you.
Okay. I'll ask that that resolution be voted on separately. All in favor of the consent agenda items 2 through 10 indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Those resolutions have passed. All in favor of resolution number 1 indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Opposed say nay. All right, that resolution is also passed. Director Richardson.
Yes, Mayor. I think last week we had small discussion on this resolution, and I think it was referenced that Justice Communities used to have this contract, used to do this training. Is that correct?
That is correct, sir.
And sir, is there any particular reason why we canceled our work with them? Was it based on evaluation? Was it based on content? Is there a particular reason why we moved away from them?
We did not cancel our contract with them. They had an opportunity to participate in the bidding for this contract. It is my understanding that they did not get that bid in the proper time.
Thank you, Chief. And I think last week, I think Captain Paxton made reference to, I had a question about what kind of evaluation, expectational outcomes we were looking towards. And I think Captain Paxton, I don't put words in your mouth, but I think you said without anecdotal information, anecdotal incidents, we couldn't necessarily particularly point to this training as being resulting in some noticeable difference in behavior of our officers. Did I mention that correctly?
The training itself is more of an education, and it's more of a it's more of an education into culture and identifying what needs you have as an officer, as far as your cultural competency. And so there's no test involved per se where you can tell that that there's no way really to tell if it's happening. Now, over a period of time, it's possible that our complaints will go down. Over a period of time, you can look at anecdotal evidence, but there's nothing to say
that we can attribute it to this particular training
there's
curriculum. So beyond just content, knowledge content, or cultural competence content, whatever we're training them on, beyond that, that's not anything we're looking at from an evaluative standpoint to directly connect us to this particular training. From an evaluation standpoint, we don't have any kind of evaluation information that will demonstrate that happens.
That's correct. We've had this training, we've had the same or similar training, cultural diversity, for a long time in my career, and it's been taught by different people. So this is, and we're in the second year of a 3-year of a 3-year possible contract on this one. So.
Thank you, Captain.
Captain Paxton, I believe last week you mentioned that there were several officers, a diverse set of officers who had made very positive comments about the training, and you were going to provide us with some of those written comments back. Have you been able to get that put together yet?
I sent up through my chain two memos that were done. One by Dr. Strauss, who teaches the course, and it's he does a nexus examination of all the comments that he had, and then I've also sent up a memo And I'm not sure if it's got to y'all yet or not. It's gone through the chain.
Well, Mayor, that's part of the nature of my comments because we were expecting that information, and I don't think we got that. I think it was referenced that
Mr.
we're gonna
Jones,
have
if you
some
would
kind of,
track that down back through the police department, please, and provide it to all of us.
yeah.
Apologize for that. It's a snail mail, so it's not email, so it
Okay.
may be a little bit slower.
Ask him soon.
All right, very good, thank you. Okay, we can now move on to that portion of our agenda, which is citizen communication. And I do have one card from Danny Lewis. Danny, if you would come forward, please. You have an announcement about a new nonprofit you'd like to tell us about?
Yes, sir. How are you all? Mayor, directors, Bruce in his absence, Thomas Carpenter, my good dear friend, Ms. Hendricks. I'm here today to say that in 2018, we've come a long way, and we have a way to go. My primary objective here tonight is to announce the formation of a new nonprofit. It is basically a hunger and a clothing ministry. Matthew's 25th chapter, verses 34 through 36. Then shall the king say unto them on his right hand, Come, ye blessed of my Father, inherit the kingdom prepared for you from the foundation of the world. For I was hungered, and you gave me meat. I was thirsty, and you gave me drink. I was a stranger, and you took me in. I was naked, and you clothed me. I was sick, and you visited me. I was in prison, and you came unto me. So many people have a lack of knowledge of what is required of them as a Christian. And as a Christian, if you see me hungry, you're supposed to feed me. If you see me naked, you're supposed to clothe me. If you see me without. Now, here in this beautiful city of Little Rock, which I call home, I've been here all of my 56 years. And I thank God for that. I've never been hungry. I've never slept under a bridge. I've never missed a meal in my life. But I do have a problem when there are others that do. I volunteer at Quapaw United Methodist Church at 16th and Louisiana. And there are people that come through there that are going through on a hard time. And we all have hard times. I'm certain that everybody here has experienced some difficulty in their life, but these people are at the least. I've never had to go to a homeless shelter. I've never had to go to a feeding. But I say that the city does some works toward that with the Joshua Project and the other, with the Compassion Center, and I'm aware of that. But we can do more. In this world's wealthiest nation, we can do more. I say that to say this. How much time I got? 27 seconds? 5, 4. All right. But we can do more. When the ship rises, when the tide rises, all ships should. And we have left so many behind, be they black, white, red, yellow, brown. Ms. Hendricks, my friend and mentor, has done a great job. My name is Danny R. Lewis, and I am here tonight to announce my candidacy for Ward 1. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lewis. Good luck on your nonprofit.
Thank you.
Okay, we can now move on to the items that are grouped, and I'd like to hold items 15 and 16 and read those last two separately, if we could. So, Madam Clerk, if you would, please read items 11 through 14.
An ordinance to approve a plan zoning development, establish a plant office district titled Little Rock Funeral Home, short form POD, located at 8801 Nuttall Court, Little Rock, Arkansas, amending the official zoning map of the city of Little Rock, Arkansas, and for the purposes. An ordinance to approve a plan zoning development, establish a planned commercial district titled Paradise Heights Revised Short Form PCD located at 300 East Roosevelt Road, Little Rock, Arkansas, amending the official zoning map of the city of Little Rock, Arkansas, and for the purposes, an ordinance to approve a plan zoning development, establish a plan office district titled the House of Bethesda, short form PDC, located at 6900 Pecan Avenue, Little Rock, Arkansas, amending the official zoning map of the city of Little Rock, Arkansas, and for the purposes, an ordinance to authorize the city manager to dispense with the requirement of competitive bidding for the purchase of up to 43 months of software maintenance, service, and support, and 36 months of hardware maintenance and support for the city's computer-aided 911 dispatch system in the amount of $956,695 plus applicable taxes to declare an emergency. First reading.
Rules in place on second reading.
There's a motion and a second to suspend the rules and place these ordinances on second reading. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Second reading, please.
An ordinance to approve a plan zoning development, establish a plan office district titled Little Rock Funeral Home, short form POD, located at 8801 Nodal Court, and a ordinance to approve a plan zoning development, establish a plan commercial district titled Paradise Heights, revised short form PCD, located at 300 East Roosevelt Road. An ordinance to approve a plan zoning development and establish a plan office district titled the House of Bethesda, short form PDC, located at 6900 Pecan Avenue. An ordinance to authorize the city manager to dispense with the requirement of competitive bidding for the purchase of up to 43 months of software maintenance, service, and support, and 36 months of hardware maintenance and support for the city's computer-aided 911 dispatch system in the amount of $956,695 plus applicable taxes to declare an emergency. Second reading.
We suspend the rules and place in third and final reading.
There's a motion and a second to suspend the rules and place these ordinances on third and final reading. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Third and final reading, please.
An ordinance to approve a plan zoning development, establish a plan office district titled Little Rock Funeral Home, short form POD, located at 8801 Nodal Court. An ordinance to approve a plan zoning development, establish a plan commercial district titled Paradise Heights, revised short form PCD, located at 300 East Roosevelt Road. An ordinance to approve a plan zoning development, establish a plan office district titled the House of Bethesda, short form PDC, located at 6900 Pecan Avenue. An ordinance to authorize the city manager to dispense with the requirement of competitive bidding for the purchase of up to 43 months of software maintenance, service, and support, and 36 months of hardware maintenance and support for the city's computer-aided 911 dispatch system in the amount of $956,695 plus applicable taxes to declare emergency. Third reading.
All right, Director Adcock, you have a question, please.
Mr. James, Mr. Jones, I'm sorry. Item number 12. If I'm not mistaken, this is the old VA hospital in Ward 1.
I believe it is.
Okay. What is going to happen to our police department? We have that first floor, I believe. Are they going to continue that? And how many apartments are going to be put in that building? And do we have some type of time frame of when this is going to happen?
Mr. Collins? And if the police department stays, I know that.
Okay.
And Chief left, so
At the same
Jamie,
rent
can
that
you
we're,
answer that as well?
at the same rent that we've been paying, or is there a new rental contract?
Well, I don't think that's really what this is all about, so this has to do with a zoning issue, not the rent that is being paid by the police department.
Okay, what,
Well,
tell me,
the-
is the police department going to get to stay in the building?
Yes, ma'am. Police department stays in their location. The apartments vary by number. What we have is there's going to be floors 3 through 11 are proposed as residential. Approximately 217 units will be in the residential housing. And then there's the mix between 1-bedroom and 2-bedroom in that mix.
And then it's going to have office, and what are the other uses?
Well, it's office and commercial, and originally they proposed restaurant and banquet, but they removed that because of the parking. And so their mixed use is also with some retail anticipation, some office, some residential. And depending upon what retail comes in, tied with the residential is, we're going to look at ongoing what the parking space is and the limitations to that, so.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Collins, how many floors are there?
There are floors on the residential, there's 3 through 11, so there's a basement,
So they're using the whole facility?
using the
then?
whole facility.
That's my question.
They're even using the very top floor, top floor for, I believe, a concierge lounge that are for the residents there.
Very good. Okay, thank you. Director Hancock, does that take care of your question?
Yes, thank you.
Director Hendricks?
Thank you. I wanted to, the person that's on there, and he did not fill out a card, but I didn't know whether he wanted
Is
to
the
talk.
applicant here
Yes. Come on up, Ron.
or the representative of the applicant?
He is the applicant.
Okay, very good.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Ron Woods, representing Webb, and the owner is here also, Mr. A.J. Gilbert. I am the architect representing Metis.
What time frame
You
are
can
you
talk to
looking
all
at
of us,
finishing
Ron.
those?
You can talk to all of us.
You probably have a better, she wants to know a time frame. Right now, I know there's a buy-sell agreement, and we're trying to work through that. How long do we have?
The time frame for the development, we're anticipating about 24 months.
Okay, good, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Ron. Thank you, sir. All right, if there are no other questions about items 11 through 14, all in favor of the passage of those ordinances indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, saying nay. And on the emergency clause on 14, all in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, saying nay. It has also passed. We can now move on to the first reading of ordinance number 15, which is a condemnation ordinance.
An ordinance to condemn certain structures in the city of Little Rock, Arkansas as structural fire and health hazards, to provide for summary abatement procedures, to direct city staff to take such action as is necessary to raise and remove said structures, to declare an emergency and for other purposes. First reading.
There's a motion and a second to suspend the rules and place the ordinance on second reading. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, saying nay. Second reading, please.
An ordinance to condemn certain structures in the city of Little Rock, Arkansas as structural fire and health hazards, to provide for summary abatement procedures, to direct city staff to take such action as is necessary to raise and remove said structures, to declare an emergency. Second reading.
We suspend the rules and place on third and final reading.
Second.
There's a motion and a second to suspend the rules and place this ordinance on third and final reading. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Third and final reading, please.
An ordinance to condemn certain structures in the city of Little Rock, Arkansas as structural fire and health hazards, to provide for summary abatement procedures, to direct city staff to take such action as is necessary to raise and remove said structures, to declare an emergency. Third and final reading.
Okay, I have one card from Itaya Walls, who wishes to speak for the ordinance. Is that right? Come forward, please.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you all for allowing me to speak on behalf of the property. I've had this property since.
So you're wishing to speak
Four.
for,
No, against tearing it down.
okay, okay.
I'm sorry.
Which property?
It's 4701 West 31st.
Okay, Scott, if you'd get us up to that one, please. Okay, go ahead, please.
Okay, I'd like for it to be allowed to give, I'd like to be given some more time on it. This is the first time that I'm hearing that there's a certain amount of time that I'm allowed to bring the property up to code, otherwise will be condemned. The first time that I made contact with anyone about the property, I saw that there was no, there wasn't a sign on it at the time. When I first purchased it, it was in worse shape than it is now, as far as a lot of trash and debris in it. Sheetrock was still up, wires had been torn out. So I started to do some work on it and needed to pull a building permit. In doing so, I found out that there was a block on the property and didn't know why, because from my standpoint, it was in good structural condition. It just needed to be brought up to code. So I contacted the person who was over demolition and asked to meet with him. I met with him. He took it off of the list, which I thought he took it off of the list, but apparently he put it on hold. Fast forward to about a month and a half ago, I ride by the property and I see one of those signs that pretty much says it's about to be torn down. So I immediately contacted Mr. Purefoy, who's over demolition, scheduled a meeting with him to see what I needed to do in order to get it taken off of the list. He explained to me that it was never taken off of the list, it was just put on hold. At the time, I didn't know that. That was the first time I heard that it was even going back up for condemnation. So I contacted him, he came out, did another inspection, and I scheduled a meeting with Mr. Garland. Met with Mr. Garland, and in that meeting, we couldn't get anywhere because he was under the impression that I couldn't do it. So here we are today. And I'd just like to say that I never received any notice of any time frame that I needed to get this completed. And the only contact that I've had with the city is me initiating the contact. So for those reasons, I'd ask that I receive some more time and actually get some type of write-up of what needs to be done and what time frame it needs to be done in. Thank you.
How long have you owned the property, Ms. Walls?
2015.
And do you know there's $5,143 worth of outstanding liens on it?
Those liens were prior to me owning the property.
But they're still on the property, though?
Yes, they're still on the property, but they weren't incurred by me. And one of those liens was for
That's above and
25.
beyond that. I know. If either Mr. Garland or Mr.
Can I speak to one of those liens?
Sure.
Okay. There's a lien for $2,500, $2,556.78 for cut and clean. So I asked about that because the other ones were like $250, so I figured maybe it was a typo. People make mistakes. I just couldn't see $2,500 being spent on cutting the grass and cleaning up yard debris. I have yet to receive anything on that. I requested it before my meeting with Mr. Garland. He told me in the meeting that he would get it to me in a week, and I still don't have anything. So that's the bulk of that $5,000 is one cut and clean lien for $2,500.
Okay, Mr. Garland, if you'd come forward, please.
Mayor, members of the board.
If you would address, first of all, I believe the owner says she didn't receive notice. If you'd address the notice issue, and then also any discussions you had with her relative to bringing the house up to code. And then if you can help, I know it says the property's also, in addition to the outstanding liens, has been certified to the state, I assume for non-payment of taxes. So if you can address those issues, that would help us with this matter.
The first issue, Mayor, members of the board, our records show that we contacted the owner in January 2018, excuse me, as we were preparing the property for condemnation approval. She has owned the property since 2015. Staff did not approve those permits being renewed because we didn't feel there had been any significant progress made during the past 3 years that the current owner has owned the property.
So she had construction or renovation permits?
Yes, sir. She had a building. Just a second. Mayor and members of the board, her building permit expired December 1st, 2015. The plumbing permit expired December 1st, 2015 as well. There was a repair estimate of about $20,000 that staff felt it would take to bring this property up to full code because it has been declared unsafe and vacant. Staff and I met with this owner on March 15th. At that time, she presented a buyer to us on the spur of the moment. That buyer came prepared with no rehab plan, no budget, no proof of financial capacity. So at that time, staff recommended that she come and seek board's permission to continue trying to rehab the property. As far as the $2,000 lien goes, we are having to go to our archives to dig up copies of all of those liens and provide copies to her. As of our meeting on March 15th, if I'm not mistaken, the property was still certified back to the state for payment of non-tax.
Was there a single lien for $2,500 and some odd dollars?
A little over $2,000, but generally when you get a lien that high, we've gone in and done a lot more than just cut grass. I didn't bring a copy of that one with me because it's in the basement of the Willie Hinton Resource Center, so we're having to go over there and go through and make copies for her.
Okay, thank you.
And she did question whether it was a.
It sounds a little high to me, but I'm not sure if anybody know what extra work had to be done?
We usually will send a pretty detailed invoice to the owners of record.
Okay, thank you. Director Adcock may have some questions for you. Director Adcock, go
Could
ahead,
that not have been that you cut it 10 times in those 8 years?
Director, without having that lien in front of me, I'd hate to guess since it was several years ago. I would prefer to pull the actual lien itself, as well as the invoice that we mailed the owners, who the invoices was mailed to. Generally, after the city or staff goes out and does an abatement, we will allow the owners 10 days to pay that invoice, after which time we will then file a lien.
I know lots of times when I see an amount of liens, it's because they're accumulated so many liens, they've just put them all together. So I thought maybe that's what this might be.
Again, I would hate to guess. I would prefer to be more specific, and we'd be happy to provide the board a copy of those liens if they so desire.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Garland. Director Wright may have a question, sorry.
Yes, did I not understand you to say, Mr. Garland, that there was a rehab plan discussed with the owner at some point? It may have been in 15, but there was a rehab plan discussed at some point?
Not that I have participated in, Director Wright. Several years ago, when we had owners request to rehab unsafe vacant structures, primarily we're looking for three things: a rehab timeline, a detailed budget, and some indication of the fact that you have the financial capacity to complete the project.
I just thought I heard you say that there was a rehab plan discussed at some point. I thought I wrote 12/1/15.
On March 15th,
You discussed.
which was a couple of weeks ago, no, the current owner brought a brand-new owner to a scheduled meeting with us to discuss her rehab plan, her timeline, and her
That's the part I
financial
missed.
ability to rehab the project.
Okay.
So we were sort of blindsided with the new buyer, which
Okay.
at that time we recommended that she come before the board.
Okay, then my next question is, they said that this is property certified to the state. Would that not prohibit us from tearing it down, Mr. Carpenter?
No, the police power action, because of the danger, would allow us to tear it down and demolish it. Whether we would be able to collect a lien on it is a question.
Or any previous liens.
And we would notify the state and anybody listed on our title searches of the city's intent if that's so granted.
Okay. Thank you.
Director Richardson.
Yes. I hear you.
A little over 2,000. As I indicated, Director, yes, pull the lien. When we are, we've moved just a typical.
Does have a question for the yes. We used to have a practice just showing a vertical this any kind of clip tearing down this particular home. The neighborhood time there. Once upon a time, the home we're going to surrounding exceptions doing. I'm saying from this mayors my practice of this we used
We, if the record, we can do both. I think that you, so, yes.
Questions for Garland? Director Wyrick.
Mr. Garland,
Yes, ma'am.
I think you're talking about the timeline that the owner, are you talking now?
Yes, ma'am.
For the one, did you say the owner purchased in 2015?
I said the owner, 6 2000. Sometime
2015. And so the that she had, or was it prior?
They that owner had.
Right. So how long did it last?
We usually will grant a 90-day building code. We'll check based upon extend.
Okay, so now those permits you didn't see at 90 you permits.
The owner never requested.
Okay. And that that able to give
It's this based on the history of performance.
being January 18. So now has happened since 15 to
For there's no significant why.
I won't be sure I have time to clear this and 5, 4.5, 13. And correctly acquired 2015 permits we never completed and placed in the line for condemnation. And so during all as you said, the where some contact when
certified to the state. Now,
The under reports or staff being throughout the city, they submit file to us into that generally will entail us being extend your time. Rehab your brain to minimum. Case started around January 2008. You look pretty from asking ready to the nation. So what we set in place was a process to do that. Because you could not motivate. In this case, and we were notified that this particular submit this property for approval to demolish. First, to face personally, after we set up March 15th, that was after she received a letter for to contact me with us.
Thank you. But some of these they have a privilege to do what they want, but sometimes it doesn't make sense to me. I think it makes sense. Some of these they ask you because they have a Christian, but they said you put the work.
Are you sure?
Okay. Has made a request to be taken nomination. Is there any effect? Any? You want to? All right, forward.
Mr. Garland spoke on several things. It's playing and further that 2,500 to 256 cents, whatever not valid because
Just for the issue,
let me once again, I was, the previous owner was not, I even how much time I haven't received a letter, and he even brought me, he had demolition if I had received, he said no. The fact that he got up, I did receive some, that's not true.
you take out the origination permit.
Yes, I did that on my property by the anything. I was
15 to 2018.
I
Right?
have taken all the black wires and the British plumbing book. I found out that there were I bought the start by saying that you all familiar, but in a sale you have to buy to get the type. So initially I had to deal with owner, then I found a mortgage and have release it at about the 20 lane. And I said I were so that previous owner if which this is, I can't pay my until they're taken off. So for $8 for something I do, or I like to know it's legit. It's reasonable. I've done it. He out February 2008. Mail I received that because I with the over and Mr. met with him, and he said that he's because when I first 15 card.
Speaking. After this point, I'll take your privilege. She's
So I to work with him, resolve the list that he needs to bring thing. Work up, renovate with it. I get project that will be my and associated with. And that was I also brought my bank statement. He made it in our own conversation that was critical that I bring because he cared about anything else but bring in what I brought. That was I him budget, yeah, programs, and everything. He just didn't. So the meeting over, he spoke about why brought because I did feel work with him. So just to further the property to sell themselves, say it had
we're going to run a orderly. I will. Excuse me. You're not being at this time.
Neighbor citizen a dead I torn down. If we have a problem with if it can be preserved, it to the city. I see it torn down. Just another.
Thank you. Have a more director. If you'd like anyone else to. All right. Okay. The order of to speak.
Yes, I don't know if we're in a time to come to a solution to the day we had in the past arena to make that happen. I don't know. She's like specific debating.
This will come back.
Now, and it's not the.
So you're asking to take this off and ask the period of time that you're going to be last.
I 6 months by the title, and the title there's it taken so even I'll fix it. I'm the donated, it's a serious initiative.
Would like to take.
I understand that. The reason why is to offer him alternative. He did do it, he has to do it, and that is further and start that. I did try to just push it up. I just want.
Okay. The two different stories, because when I was hearing, it wasn't a you have 6 months to execute plan and questions on the property. No, you pushed it right. That's the part I hate. We see it's going to steal her. Willing to give you the 6 months, but I can't speak for colleagues. I want them to know that my life can down house. Don't just go to get at least with I'm not, I just hate seeing lots.
Can I work? It doesn't have proof. It's fine. As why that's what started it. On my way to work, has houses far worse than this. Yeah. In the cul-de-sac, people live over there. The neighbors asked when I first gave my car, so if anything, give me a call. And that's the person I'm not properties and can pull over on. I actually makes it better. That's the reason why.
Mayor, I from the list give the 6 months to leave. She has to give a monthly report to our staff, letting them know what her progress is. And then at the end of that 6 months, if she hadn't made any significant progress, we put this back on for demolition.
Director Wright, when you say the legal issues answered,
Well, she said something about the liens.
Right, well, the quiet title, something she could have started a year or two ago, even under the statute. So she hadn't even filed it. Do you want that to be something that's done that she files, and if there's no other owners, she should be able to complete it in 6 months?
Okay.
One of those items is the city lien, and I still haven't gotten an answer on that.
Yeah.
So that if
That's what a quiet title action can take care of.
right, but if I don't have to defend myself against that, I can file it myself. That's
You can do that if you wish. I mean, the question I'm having is, you've had a property since 2015. You've exercised dominion over it. You have a title question over it with the state because you bought it at a tax sale. You've had since 2 years from the date that you bought it, whatever 2 years after the date that you bought it was, to file the quiet title action. You haven't done that. You've complained about not being given documents from the city, but every document you're asking for has been filed with the title history of your property, which you would need for the quiet title action.
okay. So from my understanding, the property owner is supposed to receive a UV notice. Are you familiar with that?
From my understanding, everything that has been issued on your property is in the circuit clerk's office, and a title check would tell you that, and would tell you what it
But-
was for, when it was, and how much it was.
There hasn't been one filed for me as the
Actually,
owner.
there has been. We can't file a lien unless we file
No,
it at the circuit clerk's office.
No, I'm
And
not-
when we file it at the circuit clerk's office, it stays as a record on your property. And if you do a
I'm not
title
speaking about the
search,
$2,500 lien. I'm speaking about the UV notice that gives me.
I'm sure
that I
that's
need to
on there
bring
too.
it into-
But you
Let's-
did
let-
have
let's,
it posted
Let's
and you
not get
saw
into a
that.
discussion here, or back and forth. There's a motion. Is there a second to the motion? Is there a second to the motion? All right, there's a second to the motion. Now, Director Hendricks, you wish to be heard? Let me call on you, please.
It was earlier that I think that it's disrespectful to our staff, and then when Tom said what he had said, we ought to follow some rules somewhere.
I apologize, it wasn't meant to be disrespectful.
Okay, there's a motion and a second.
Y'all heard that, didn't you?
There's a motion, there's a motion and a second to defer this or to take it off the ordinance tonight for a period of 6 months for the person to get the quiet title action resolved and to come forward with a specific plan with our staff on the rehabilitation of the property and bring it up to code. Is everyone clear? Okay, all in
6
favor
months.
indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. I believe the nays have it.
Can I get a roll call on that?
Okay, a roll call is requested.
Never asked for one.
I won't let them defeat your ass.
Director Hendricks,
Nay.
Director Richardson,
Yes.
Director Peck,
Yes.
Director Hines,
No.
Director Wright,
Yes.
Director Wyrick,
No.
Director Compuris, Director Fortson,
No.
Director Adcock,
No.
Vice Mayor Webb.
Yes.
5 to 5.
The chair will vote yes.
The chair,
got 6
the
months,
chair,
sister.
the chair is campaigning.
All right, now, if you come forward, Ms. Walsh.
Robert,
First of all-
the chair is campaigning.
First of all, I know you're looking for opportunities probably as it relates to buying tax sale property, but it's very complicated. And so it appears that you bought that for back taxes from the commissioner and have not paid any taxes since then, number one. Number two is you're going to have to get these liens cleared up. And it's elementary before you spend any money on a house that you get the title cleared so that you don't lose the value of whatever the improvements are. So before you head down this path again, you really
I've
need
learned
to
from
consult with someone that knows what they're doing about it, okay? So you've got 6 months to figure that out, and if you will work with Mr. Garland and with his staff and keep in constant contact with them, keep them happy, then you'll keep the rest of us happy, okay?
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much. And like I said earlier, I did not mean to be disrespectful. I just don't know how this usually goes. Thank you again.
Good luck. Okay, we can now move on to ordinance number 16.
Did we vote on the other ones?
Haven't voted on the ordinance.
Oh, excuse me, thank you. All right, now we still have ordinance 15 as amended. All in favor of the passage of the ordinance indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. And on the emergency clause, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. The emergency clause is also passed. Okay, item 16, first reading, please.
An ordinance to amend Chapter 8 of the Little Rock Code of Ordinances of 1988 to adopt standards for duct testing and other standards for energy conservation for new residential structures with amendments herein and for the purposes. First reading.
Please suspend the rules and place on second reading.
Second.
There's a motion and a second to suspend the rules and place this ordinance on second reading. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Second reading, please.
An ordinance to amend Chapter 8 of the Little Rock Code of Ordinances to adopt standards for duct testing and other standards for energy conservation for new residential structures with amendments herein. Second reading.
We suspend the rules and place on third and final reading.
Second.
There's a motion and a second to suspend the rules and place this ordinance on third and final reading. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Third and final reading, please.
An ordinance to amend Chapter 8 of the Little Rock Code of Ordinances to adopt standards for duct testing and other standards for energy conservation for new residential structures with amendments herein. Third and final reading.
Okay, I've got one card. I've got two cards that wish to speak in favor of it. Do you still wish to speak in favor of it?
Of what?
All right. Okay, come forward, please. Mr. Costello?
How are you all tonight? Mayor,
Fine, thank you.
Vice Mayor and Council. I apologize, I'm not a public speaker, so if I trip over my words ahead of time, I'm apologizing. I moved here from Dallas, North Texas, 30 years, built houses. 15 years ago in Dallas, they started doing third-party energy inspections of new home construction. There's a whole concept of tightening up houses to the point where you have to start having a controlled system or you create issues. When I started getting involved in building houses here, I was amazed at the, where we were at in the building codes. And we're talking about a 2009 building code. Fayetteville went ahead with it. I don't see that they're suffering from problems with selling houses in Fayetteville. Some people talk about adding cost to a house. I'm working on an 8,000 square foot house. They just replaced a $4,000 door in the back of the house with an $11,000 door. I don't think this is going to add extra to that house. But if the house was poorly built in the sense that a duct was open, it is going to be a health issue. It's going to be a moisture issue. And we're talking about houses that are supposed to last 50 years, 60 years, or longer. And so I'm very much in favor. I am a business person. I do duct testing. I'm a HERS rater. I do blower doors. I'm very passionate about Energy Star homes. And I do not see that this area, that is a strong component to our construction, but I believe it's very necessary to create very healthy homes. And I think we're missing that by putting off on the idea that doing this will add some kind of barrier to home ownership. And that's everything I pretty much have to say.
Good. Thank you, Mr. Costello. Let me also just recognize Ron Hughes, who's out in the audience. Raise your hand, Ron. Who has been an advocate for this for many, many years. He serves on the Mayor's Sustainability Commission and works at Pulaski Tech and does this kind of duct testing for energy efficiency and has been urging us to get this done. So thank you, Ron, and thank you also, Mr. Costello, for educating us some on getting us up to date on this thing. Okay? Okay, if there are no questions on this, are there any questions? All right, go ahead. Director Wyrick, yes.
Thank you. In the write-up, it says that the city staff met with the Little Rock home builders, realtors, and a number of other stakeholders over the past year to discuss this. Was there agreement that we should do this? It doesn't state it in the background information.
There was an agreement.
There was an agreement. Okay, I assumed that
There were
was.
issues along the way, but everybody's
happy with with the plan. Okay, thank you.
Director Hendricks, you're recognized, please.
I just wanted to recognize Officer Woody Davis in the audience, and I took care of what I had to do, but the board disapproved it, okay?
Okay, we can now move on to the next item, which is a public hearing on ordinance number 17. Excuse me. I got everybody talking and I forget to ask for the vote. I apologize. All in favor of the passage of the ordinance indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, say nay. The ordinance is passed. Thank you. Okay, we can now move on to the public hearing, item 17. And let me go ahead and open up the public hearing and ask for the first reading of the ordinance, please.
An ordinance to approve a plan zoning development, establish a planned commercial district titled the 8409 Gar Springs Road, short form PCD, located at 8409 Gar Springs Road, Little Rock, Arkansas, amending the official zoning map of the city of Little Rock, Arkansas, and for the purposes first reading.
There's a motion and a second to suspend the rules and place this ordinance on second reading. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Second reading, please.
An ordinance to approve a plan zoning development, establish a planned commercial district titled the 8409 Gar Springs Road, short form PCD, located at 8409 Gar Springs Road, second reading.
Move suspend the rules and place on third and final reading.
There's a motion and a second to suspend the rules and place this ordinance on third and final reading. All in favor indicate by saying aye. Opposed, say nay. Third and final reading, please.
An ordinance to approve a plan zoning development, establish a planned commercial district titled the 8409 Gar Springs Road, short form PCD, located at 8409 Gar Springs Road, third and final reading.
Okay. I don't have to ask because I have 7 cards of people who wish to speak on this item, all wishing to speak against it. Let me begin with Pam Adcock. Is the applicant here? Yes. All right, you wish to speak first?
Hi, my name is Juana Lira.
If you-
I'm representing my mom. We have this business and we would like to be able to sell retail, especially through catalogs. And we also have services to send money to to Mexico or Central America. And I don't have all the details. My sister is the one that has been coming, but she just had a baby last week and she wasn't able to come.
Okay. What kind of business is it?
It's like a Mexican store where we have boots, clothing, cream, things from Mexico, and money transfers.
I see. Okay, any questions for the applicant from the board? Director Wright.
Yes, ma'am. Is this a stationary building? Are you inside of a structure or is this a
Yes.
vehicle?
No, it's a house. It's an office kind of building.
Okay. So everything takes place, all your sales takes place inside of this house?
Yes.
Okay, well, maybe I'm,
It's a cantina outside.
A what?
The trailer outside?
Yes, there's a taco truck outside.
so I'm confused. If you got a house, you're not turning the house into the restaurant.
No, no.
What's
we're not.
inside the house?
We have
Structure.
clothing, like boots, things to sell like creams, shampoo, things like that.
And then the food truck, it's a
It's
food
outside.
truck?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Director Adcock.
I would like for Jamie to come up and describe the property and what's on the property and what is for sale in the property and the banking that's being done in the property.
Okay, Ms. Gutierrez, if you'll just have a seat, please, and
Okay.
there may be some other questions for you later.
Director Hancock, what's on the property right now is the house. If you bring up, that's the site plan. That's a proposed site plan. The parking's not there. Right now, it's predominantly gravel in the front of the house and on the side. The food truck is parked, or the canteen is parked in the front of the house with a tree between that and the right-of-way. The inside of the home there is retail sales currently in the home right now, like they explained, some boots, some aspects, and a MoneyGram station to send, some banking stuff that she was talking about. And so that's predominantly what is on that site right now.
Okay, Jamie, I can't tell from the back where it says one-story brick frame. There is a house that is, the only thing between that house, that residence, is a fence. Correct?
You're talking on the north side, Director Adcock?
Well,
Or on
behind the house.
Or on the east side, back behind
Okay.
the house?
Wait a minute. Okay,
Over
it's
that
over here where it says
87 is?
87.4. Okay, that is a residential home, and that is the entrance to Windermere subdivision.
That is correct.
And so that whole street has got single-family houses on it.
That is correct.
Okay. Across the street, there is a daycare from this.
That is correct. There is several commercial and office uses along Geyer Springs in that location.
Okay. Now, at this present time, if I'm not mistaken, there are 2 picnic tables out front that are not allowed. Because if I'm not Correct, there's no eating allowed on these premises, correct?
In a canteen unit, they cannot have a place to sit down. That is correct out front.
Okay, and at the present time, the only thing on this yard is gravel.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, how long has this been there?
Well, it's been there. This has come before, and, us on an enforcement action, so, about a year that I know of.
Okay, thank you.
So what's the current zoning on it?
Right now, it is, office, 03 zoning.
03 zoning.
Yeah, it come in when, back when it got annexed in to the city underneath a different type of zoning, that got converted into 03 zoning. And so so it's office use, and it was being used as a, insurance office for, a while, that come in. And so, even now, if it remains 03, the canteen, that's an accessory use that's allowed in office zoning or commercial zoning.
You talking about the food truck?
Yes, the mobile canteen.
Okay, all right, thank you. Okay, we have some cards of people who wish to speak on this matter. Pam Adcock, please. Do you still wish to speak?
My sinus medicine is just about to play out, so if I start coughing and leave, I'm not sure who in the family appeared before Southwest Ups, but it was back in, I want to say October. That's how long we've been, just Southwest Ups has been dealing with this. And they did give a thorough presentation. After the presentation, which included questions, all the membership of Southwest Ups voted not to support. You also have a letter from Windermere Upper Baseline asking for your denial of this application also. This property has been zoned office for, I would say, probably in the mid-'80s. And the last many years, it was an insurance office, as Jimmy said, and it was okay. I mean, you don't have a lot of people coming. They kept the landscaping up. It was grass. It was nice looking. We noticed about a year ago that all of a sudden there was, or probably not quite a year ago, maybe during the summer, that someone came in and put a concession trailer. It's not a food truck. It's not mobile. It attaches to the back end of a truck. You drag it around. But it appeared, and there was gravel. They graveled the whole front yard up to the side yard. So needless to say, it doesn't look very appealing on what we consider Geyer Springs as being our main street. I'm going to just jump to my talking points on the parking and other items. The parking, if you approve this application, is not, in our opinion, sufficient. It's a very small lot. We have pictures. And then today, of course, it was raining to beat all get out. So I couldn't take another picture, but I've been told that, you see where that car right there is on the other side of the street? That's the other side of Carlisle. Today at 5 o'clock, when I started this way, there was a vehicle parked there with the flashers on because they couldn't park in the yard. When I say the yard, over by the food concession trailer. So they were parked on the street and ran over and were getting their food there. And then they run back. According to neighbors, the parking lot across Carlisle is also being used as parking. And people park there, run across, grab their food, jump back in and leave. So therefore, we say it's not sufficient. Parking in the backyard, as they plan on doing, is not acceptable. There is a family, a lady, and I believe she's here tonight. She lives in that home, and the only thing separating her and the cars would be a board fence. Moving the driveway, as staff has said in their write-up, and I'm having to go by talking points because there's so much has changed since it was originally presented to us. The original driveway, I don't know, Public Works would have to address this, but we're not sure that it would meet the standards for a driveway that has to be back from the intersection. In fact, today, as I sat there waiting to come down and the vehicle that was sitting there with the flashers on, there was 2 vehicles that were leaving the neighborhood, and the car that wanted to leave after they got food couldn't leave because they had the driveway blocked. So they had to wait until they could get out onto Gower Springs before they could actually leave. So moving the driveway, as staff has recommended to them, closer to the adjacent home, which is back up towards the board fence, that's just going to cause more noise for the neighbor, and I'm still not sure that it would meet the standards that are needed. They have stated that they won't have a dumpster. This is, if it's approved, it would be a commercial establishment. So you can't use your Green Monster. They would have to have a dumpster. So the question is, do they pack it up and bring it home and then we deal with it in our neighborhoods? I don't know. That's a question. Ordinance states that your concession stand, mobile canteen, whatever you want to call it, has to be attached at all times to the vehicle. No ifs, ands, and buts. There's not a may. It's a shall. So, if you go back to the first or second one where the truck, right there, that truck is almost at the edge of the driveway in Carlisle. Is it going to sit there all the time? The other question that we have, if this is approved, they've stated that they would take the canteen away at night. It would disappear from 7 o'clock on the weeknights and then 9 o'clock on weekend night. Where does it go? Where do they take it? They live in Cloverdale. I can tell you where it's probably going to end up being. The entire yard, as I said, has been gravelled. If this is not approved, or even if it is, does the gravel get to stay? Does it continue to look like that? Awful. They were stating that they would put a fence, kind of like a little picket fence, decorated up, that would go along the sidewalk. I've been told before that if you have something abutting the sidewalk, that it requires a franchise from the city. I don't know that that's been discussed with them yet or not. As far as plantings, they have said that they would put plantings along just north of where that little arrow sign is, which is at the corner of Carlisle and Gower Springs. Who's going to make sure that those plantings stay low enough, cut enough, that it's not going to interfere with sight distance trying to turn on to Gower Springs? We right now don't have anyone in the city that goes around and cuts the right-of-way that I know of. We pretty much, I know at 83rd and Frenchman, and when it grows up, we just throw some whackers in the car, and as we go through, we whack it off. So it's pretty much up to us. I know that there's others, so I'm going to finish up. So we respectfully request your vote of denial for this application and request that the applicant remove the food concession trailer and the gravel from the front yard and replace the side and make it look nice again. So, I appreciate your vote of denial.
Thank you. All right, thank you. Thank you, Ms. Adcock. All right, she covered several elements and items. I've got other cards who I believe still wish to speak. Perhaps Sharon Thompson? Do you wish to speak, Ms. Thompson?
I submitted a letter last week voicing my concerns about
If you'll
this.
pull that microphone a little bit closer to you, please.
Okay. I submitted a letter last week voicing my concerns about the proposed site that they're trying to open on Guy Springs Road. So with your permission, can I go ahead and read it?
Okay.
Okay.
I don't know that it was, did anyone receive it? All right.
I gave it to the lady that was sitting at the desk right outside the elevator, and
The
she
front
said.
desk.
Okay. Okay. I'm one of the homeowners who currently lives on Carlisle Drive. I've lived at my current address since September of 1996. Now, my house is adjacent to the property that the applicant is trying to develop, and being in close proximity to this property raises some concerns for me. My first concern is related to the parking for the prospective customers on the site. There's really not enough parking space for the type of establishment she proposes to open. She's not only is she going to operate a food truck, but she's also going to do commercial sales from inside the building. According to the applicant, she said that she was going to pay part of the area in the backyard to provide at least 4 or 5 parking spaces for customers. Well, if she paves part of the area in the backyard to provide the parking spaces for the customers, the area that she's going to pave is right in front of my privacy fence, and if they park in that area, basically they're parked right in front of my bedroom windows. And even though there's a small privacy fence there, I can't visually see them unless I go outside, but if I'm in one of those bedrooms, I can hear them. I can hear them going in and out the vehicles throughout the day. There are some people that stand, even though it's not a official parking lot, they stand outside by their vehicles and they talk amongst one another. And if I'm in one of those bedrooms, I can hear them. One of the other options they choose for finding parking is they pull down Carlisle Drive. Well, they pull down Carlisle Drive, and I have a very long driveway. They pull up in my driveway, they bag up, they turn around, and they park on the street in front of my house. And I have random cars coming in and out of my driveway throughout the day and park in front of my house raises concerns for me. Another problem or concern that I have with the site is the location of the food truck that's in front of the building. In my opinion, having a food truck in an area, main entrance, Carlisle Drive, takes from the visual appeal community. In my opinion, that would be a to prospective homeowner. Option that people choose to if truck that can say that they would probably at the but as of today, and the food truck is there all night. Concern location of the dump would not remain the property that were regular basis. There, but I have seen property at least 3 different operating since they started outside. The first term, I remember my backyard, time, but in the kitchen window, of the backyard, called the city, have them come in. First they told me, pull it to the curb, they come and get it. I know somebody to do it. My backyard, pulled it to the curb, came back the next day. You know, question that the board just thought.
Ms. Thompson. Director Wyrick.
Can you pull up the business just your house located?
When
yeah. Either right. 7.4 feet. It looks like the building. They've been okay. I know we're going to be open till 9. What kind of impact would this an operation be till 9?
The original tonight, the planning suggested at 7 o'clock so that the people in the evening. I'm retired, so I'm retired and I'm that I my home in any given time and activity going on around the house. Now, I take session.
They're open and they're I might be wrong about that. Maybe we need to have that. Tell us. You're saying they're using driveway.
Yes.
Parking session.
Driveway and the bag in front of my house. When the car home, because I get up and go to the that is coming to me.
Yeah.
Is pulling out the bag and the park is to get in those steps. So over the day. And I'm
right. With an office.
I've been listening.
And an office.
Not a problem. First move, it was like, move out. When she moved out of we lived there only for about because she primary residence, but since it was she has to do some move, but it was not you don't have all throughout the day pay your bills or you leave.
Thank you very much.
No, you're not. Okay.
Good evening, Mayor and board members. Say a few. Mrs. said bit. but I am for children. I mentioned previously, I'm concerned for our areas and our neighborhoods in that vicinity. Children and they sidewalk and then go to school in the morning. Now also who are in to work. My concern is, as I told you, I don't want to avoid a lot of when sitting on the weekend have a tendency a little bit of alcoholic beverages. Sometimes say things, and so we have young ladies who a little bit more than they are. What we need is a situation, and they come and tell them and problems with the neighbor and the teacher our children. They cannot themselves. I am so bothered. And also the other, I'm concerned that you vote against action. This also, I'm for it. A if another neighborhood, and also vehicles and impact walks. Time I have none of that place will there, and none took place. I will have of that. Please vote like that. Look at our children, safe at the neighborhood. One thing. Thank you so much.
Evening. I think everything has been very attention to the window 409 and 42 signatures. We believe home owner to buy homes. Okay. The petition, new home values will decrease and new homeowners homes on this. We're asking you to no to the request for these food trucks.
Thank you, Ms. Hughes.
Thank you, Mayor, Vice Board. I am everyone always been a neighborhood person, and we were in this position neighborhood as it is posed and not. Also, I really did meetings that the vote taken, and I said it was 100% they raised their hand. I also was we're here to present the Planning Commission. As you can see, they voted 6, so the majority. You will weigh this one neighborhood, other two that are in the neighborhood, the residents in the audience, and live in this area.
Thank you, Mr. Muse. And
Mayor, I was here at the planning first Southwest. I wanted to know the planning board hearing that they change anything, they want to change things, and it's what they do what they want. Now, it's don't like it, but things are trying. So that's why I'm opposed. Thank you for your time.
thank you, Ken. And hey,
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Board of Directors. Are you sure you been on the planning commission? Oh, you had a chance to speak up over there. Yeah, what I have noticed, and I'm you're not there for progress. It's every time they talk about they always didn't have anything to say about the little building there. Got the trinkets from Mexico. Then they're going to have a now, all kinds of stuff. I don't think they'll be able to do that. Right. Not enough space. I don't think. Just card out that's the whole in my house. I object to it. Else, I think.
thank you, Mr. Leahy. That concludes. I have anyone else speak against this item. Again.
I don't answer some things they say. Today, I got into the right before the story. There was a letter. Came to the store and it make it. The people. So they were not in. I don't know. There, I don't know. There was red and only. We were parked on the side, not in the street or in. There in my place until the storm was gone. I get down. There was only my car. That one on the street, I don't know about it.
Okay.
Yes, they put in it to get the money proof. I think that the project risk. The big container, they hold them, they can up, and they haven't. I owner come and pick it up. They close at 7, except this Friday. I food. Never cars. Park on the side of the back. I have never seen one park. I go there 2 to 3 times and it's on Sundays after church. Maybe it's but farther. I've never seen one. In the first, we have a fence. I can have variety. That's what I have. I mean, is is the one who's been going before. What else? About the children, the work we have, my parents, sister, my niece, have worked back in. So that's it. Cajo, I have never in Hungary. Most of them will pick up the and go on. Maybe 40 minutes, my kids with them. This Sunday, they will spend a family. So bring the holy, they close. There come this experience. We take 50 try to make everybody angry. We get very strong. We do as a first plan we have the plans and everything. We have to spend on now what is going to come up.
Very good. Thank you. Red.
Mayor and Board.
Do you have a card? We don't have a. Okay.
I just want to speak on behalf of Ms. Pamela Association. And I'm not going to stay before you long. I just want to say our vision. We spoke the area, and then we did speak with that would be. So we have a lot of that live on the street that years. You know, a lot of increase. And like I said, be a blight area. And we support violence, support business at that particular. So thank you.
Okay. Very much. Okay. I'm sorry, but from a link to the board quite a bit on this, and call a question. Everything. So there is a motion. Is that correct? All in favor of calling the saying aye. Nay. Let's have it, unless you want to call and see if it's. Mr. Do you want to give some direction here?
All we have, that's the chair, it's the challenge, the ruling chair, you proceed to the.
Question about to call. All right, about
hands up here. So, how are you? Nays?
It's loud and not
Call. Oh, yes, we rezone a vote to disapprove it.
Item that it was not explained. The staff's
Picture sheet.
debate.
It's on. The staff is committed.
stated. Okay, what
Staff recommended approval. Okay, yes, it'd be to disapprove. All right. Speak. People want to talk tonight. Okay. For the rezone. Opposed to the rezone? Saying no.
No.
I'm sorry, the ordinance. Thank
Thank
Is that the request to rezone? Okay. All right, is there anything before the board of directors tonight? Anything else come before? Yes.
You and the administration, July, a Wednesday, Thursday, a Tuesday, have to meet. Consider meeting Monday so people.
We'll look at that, get that figured out.
Thank you.
Time.
Letter in the appeal of campaign finance rules on committees. I don't know if we were going to have any other discussion on what we're doing about that.
Settle order. Go ahead, Mr. Director.
Well, I wondered if this body would take any deliberation as to what we're going to do as appeal decision or not. Is that sufficient to my field?
Is anybody willing to discuss that part? I think. Discuss. Seem to put a light on. Mr. Carpenter, I'm out the appeal. Time. Okay, is that right?
No.
6 months.
So to file the 25th, I'm not going to
take some action of this board, obviously. Director Hancock.
The director.
No. Okay. No. That's the discussion I have a week.
My question is, if we've got a death, April 25th, to just.
Well, that's for this board. I think whether anybody wants it tonight. I guess we'll just have something on the agenda to discuss.
The director understood why we voted and everything. I stand behind the vote, and because I'm for this thing that we have to use. We've had this, we've not had. I would.
Okay. does the board wish to place on the agenda?
Move that we place it on as a item.
Okay. There's a motion and a second to this item of appealing is asking for discussion. Appealing the decision.
Finance.
All right, there's a motion, a second.
On the motion, just, I mean, from a time standpoint, wouldn't any secretary get best, but would 26?
The 25th of appeal need filed, need this to be
And we expect him to file it. Filing.
really answer that question. It was like but I it will take action to be considered an undecided issue.
Director Hunt.
I think the issue is not deliver that ordinance. So that would probably be a separate discussion. Because I think we're kind of times either appeal or we get back and to find another day. I mean, this is not a conversation we have had on this. We also appear as exploratory committees are being the direction of our good guys. And so if we're willing to have those connections, I know that for re-election, and several of my fellow members of our cast can't work until June. I mean, it is the question within, I guess, with 60 days, based on 60 days. It's just since I wasn't here to have discussion on our meeting, I just want to get what we want to do.
Director Hines thinks about Judge Fox's ruling had exploratory that number of candidates under law. There's a law they had to take a hearing costs, which raising funds. Current candidate and so that is then I'm or
that's the case. I guess
under the current ruling.
Say what? We still have people wish to speak on it.
I second Jones' motion. Yes, we can do the appeal, then look at the board keep it. We just leave discussions like that.
Yes. Question about if Mr. Carpenter to include that people?
No, and would any appeal be appealed exist?
Okay. As I stated previously, with June, what anybody does.
Dr. Hendricks.
Attorney Carpenter to be redundant. I'm at and not the office. Do you think it's necessary to people you're talking about Judge Fox. So, computer's been down and you today, but it didn't open up into that. I'm asking you. We tax. I answered no.
That is not illegal.
Say what you want. I'm
Just,
back
yeah.
here.
The policy.
So the motion, with Director Adcock, to discuss this. What? Turn your mic.
And discuss the 7 appeal of Judge Fox.
The motion. The second. Right. Is there any further discussion on the motion? All in all vote. Roll.
Director Richardson?
The motion is to appeal. One person.
The motion was to have a question.
Okay. Let's read it. The vote is to discuss this 2 weeks from now. Ms. Carter. All right.
Director Pack? Director Hines? Director White? Director Adcock? Vice Mayor Webb? Director Hendrick, would you like to vote?
Okay, on the agenda, if anybody wishes to prepare, we have something with, is there other business to come? If not, is it adjourned? All in favor? All in favor? Opposed, say no.